Now, if they're going to juice, perhaps the 80-20 rule, 80% greens and 20% fruits is a good way to
Yeah.
go. And then eat the rest. We want to make sure that we get plenty of fresh and raw fruits and vegetables in our daily nutritional protocol because that's where all the vitamins and minerals are.
Okay, so backing up, we saw people struggling with the idea and concept of it's too expensive to eat healthy. So we thought, okay, that's the problem. Let's find a solution. So we found a solution for $5 or under per meal. And that represented the birth of the idea of Kingdom Fuel.
I don't know how many of you have ever seen the old classic Christmas story, It's a Wonderful Life, right? But in that movie, there was a run on the banks, right? And it's like, oh my word, nobody had any cash. Well, this actually is happening in real life, and it won't be a wonderful life, right?
Juicing is a hot topic on the market today in living a healthy lifestyle. From your perspective, is juicing the way to go?
Well, it depends. There's a lot of good properties of juicing. Obviously, the vitamins and minerals and nutrients you get from the plants, yes. But when you pull out the fiber, from like a whole apple versus a juiced apple, a couple things happen. You get less fiber, but since it's not broken down in your stomach and it's broken down in the blender, you can also get high blood sugar. So you've seen that as well as I have, like people that get too much fruit juice, for example, what happens to their blood sugar?
It goes up. I've always educated individuals to not drink their calories, but eat their calories. Now, if they're going to juice, perhaps the 80-20 rule, 80% greens and 20% fruits is a good way to go. And then eat the rest. We want to make sure that we get plenty of fresh and raw fruits and vegetables in our daily nutritional protocol because that's where all the vitamins and minerals are.
Well, I really like, I'm not a anti-juice guy or anti-juicing guy, but I am a pro blending guy. In other words, there's a lot of people out there that don't necessarily quote unquote like the taste of vegetables, and that could be cultural or whatever, or just habitual, and we taught that way. But bottom line is, I'm a big blending fan. So people can take some of our Kingdom Fuel, for example, and they can put in, a handful of berries, for example, and get that blended in there. They could put even an apple in there. They could do that. They could also put some greens in there, like a handful of kale or spinach. Well, in that case, as opposed to juicing, you're not pulling out the fiber. The fiber's in there. So I think if you graduate this up from real food being the best, second line down would be probably the blending route, and third line down would be juicing. Now, not to say they don't have all health benefits, but I think in the totality of everything, I would prefer real food as best as possible.
Well, if they are going to juice, maybe the 80-20 rule is best, 80% green vegetables, 20% fruits, and then maybe limit the amount that they take in so they're not getting such a high load from sugar. If you take in 20 ounces of the 80-20 blend, you're going to potentially get a high blood sugar from that. So maybe 8 to 12 ounces should be a serving size.
Well, I think we've got to do that because, like, you look back historically, and I think you remember the days. Remember the days where people were drinking orange juice for breakfast? Remember that?
Oh, yes.
Drink your OJ. Well, the glasses went from about this tall to about this tall.
Super size, biggie
and then
size.
maybe I should have 4 glasses, and maybe more is better.
And maybe that for lunch too.
Sometimes Americans, we get something that's good, we try to make it better by getting more. And that's not always a good thing. And then obviously, this is something people need to think about too, is some of the processing methods for some of the plants that we have, some of the fruits, have those inclusion of Roundup, and things like that in there. So really think about this as far as, what we do. We also want to think organic as best as possible.
Yes, and from that standpoint, individuals who have chronic inflammatory bowel disease oftentimes do not do well on the fibers from
Right.
plants. So in that individual, starting with a 4-ounce glass of green juice, which the system does not have to go through the digestive process,
Yep.
but they can get those good vitamins and minerals from a 4-ounce glass of juice, and that can potentiate healing.
Totally. You know, a lot of times people, look at that like a leaky gut, for example, you're talking about, and they know that fruits and vegetables are good for them, but you're right, they don't produce the necessary digestive enzyme to break them down. So in that case, and that's one of those caveats, it depends. In that case, a little bit of green juice would be really good. Even a little bit of fruit in there would be good. You could take, we've been a bunch of different places and they'll have like different juice mixtures. They'll have a little bit of apple and maybe some kale and maybe some turmeric in there. That's really tasty, right? So you can actually get some taste there and you can actually get some healing to the gut with that.
So when we're talking about the do's and don'ts of juicing, obviously eating fresh plants is best. Fresh fruits and vegetables, maybe blending it next and adding your protein powder to it. If you're going to juice it, keep it on the green side. 80% green vegetables, kale, broccoli, spinach, arugula, all of the different green mixtures, and then 20% of your fruits. Those berries, those dark berries, are very, very rich in antioxidants and are essential for health benefits. So the 80-20 rule stands. And then, of course, minimizing the amount of juice that one takes in a day from probably 8 to 12 ounces. And then if inflammatory bowel issues or those chronic conditions are there, you might want to start out smaller. 4 ounces at a time to see how the tolerance of the system will be, and make sure that the juice has been strained so there's no seeds or plant fibers in that juice.
Yeah, and it's a big deal too. But think about this from even the other side. Some people might hear this broadcast and I think, well, okay, I need to start juicing. Okay, cool. But what if you did that? I'm hypothetically talking here. What if you did that and have great big glasses of fruit juice with a little bit of vegetables all day long? Your blood sugar is going to rise up and you could become insulin resistant, right?
That's absolutely a fact. Now, the other question I get asked all the time is, does juicing break a fast? And the answer to that is absolutely yes, because fruits and vegetables have calories in them. The more fruit, the quicker you're going to break a fast.
Well, totally. And, you can think about this from various angles. I think a tool that is a viable tool is juicing. But as you noted, we got to put all this other stuff in there. So a lot of people will, hear a health expert start talking about juicing, and because they do it, everybody else does it too. Life and health and decisions like this are not a one-size-fits-all project. No, it's very much independently and personalization oriented as we organize that. That's important because everybody has different places in life they are. Everybody has different gut functions, and you got to factor in all of that from the standpoint of making sure that you don't go over the top with these juices.
Well, and just living on juice, remember there is no protein in just juice. So juicing does a body good, mainly that green juice, but it's got to be well balanced all the way around.
So there you go. All you ever want to know about juicing and more. For more answers like that, stay tuned to us for future episodes.
Tips and tricks about our Kingdom products to make a kingdom healthy.
You don't want to miss it. These are our wonderful inventions coming up next.
I could use your assistance.
Okay,
Jesus. Huh? My name is Jesus.
Sure. Jesus.
Jesus is here today.
You looking for a job?
Yes, sir.
You and Mark have 45 days before the bank forecloses.
Not to worry. They do not call me by God Byron for nothing. The collection plate starts to be passed around. Mark reaches into the basket and shouts, "You and your family are the winner from the first church of the lotto." Kind of think of it like a high-stakes bingo night every Sunday.
Poopy diaper!
Poopy diaper!
This video of the diaper is going viral right before our eyes.
This is a miracle.
What is?
Friends of Faith has over 300,000 followers.
Oh my dad!
That's more followers than Moses had.
Jesus! Take the wheel!
Just say it.
No, stop! Take the wheel!
I got it. I got it, buddy.
And when you navigate through these economies with people, here's what happens. We want to hold their hand through it, let them know when it's time to buy, sell, reallocate, get out of Dodge. Because a lot of times when you're struck with fear, fear does two things. Number one, it can paralyze, and people just put their head in the sand and say, I'm just going to forget about it and hopefully it gets better. Or it causes you to make a wrong decision. And this is why we are here, is to help people navigate through the political quagmire nonsense that's going on, the economic malaise, and the absolute collapse that we're seeing. And when our freedoms are eroding, our political freedoms, our economic freedoms, our personal freedoms, our religious freedoms, our health freedoms, they're all tied together. But you know what doesn't need to erode with that? Our finances.
KirkElliottPhD.com/Sherwood.
Let's shine the spotlight on one of our star supplements.
The human body can make most of the types of fats it needs from other fats or raw materials, but not omega-3 fatty acids, also called omega-3 fats or N3 fats.
These are essential fats that the body must get from food.
Biomega 1000 provides a potent dose of omega-3 essential fatty acids sourced from a strategically placed fishing facility in the far South Pacific Ocean off the coast of Chile.
Each capsule delivers an impressive 1,000 milligrams of EPA and DHA, and the capsules also contain vitamin E. See the link below for a special offer, and remember, don't be fooled by cheap online knockoffs. For every passing day, we get more and more excited about our kingdom products because we want to help the kingdom be healthier in every way. So we've got several products that do a body good. First of all, our flagship product is called Kingdom Fuel. Tell us a little bit about Kingdom Fuel and why it's so good.
It's right there on the table. It comes in two flavors, first of all, chocolate and vanilla. It is not just a protein shake. Okay, so backing up, we saw people struggling with the idea and concept of it's too expensive to eat healthy. So we thought, okay, that's the problem. Let's find a solution. So we found a solution for $5 or under per meal, and that represented the birth of the idea of Kingdom Fuel. So Kingdom Fuel is organic pea protein. It's got greens and reds in it. So this is the phytonutrients from green plants and red plants that we all talk about. Eat your vegetables, right? It's also got vitamins and minerals in it. So it's got a complete complex of that. And it's got also soluble and insoluble fiber, which the difference between the two is profound. Soluble actually gathers moisture and makes you full. That would be kind of cool. And the insoluble goes through the system and grabs things like damaged particles, right? So it really has everything in there. And so we sourced the materials, we got it, the lab put it together, and we tried various things, and it tastes really awesome. You can mix it with water if you want to, but you could also use like some unsweetened milk products and put it in there and mix in some fruits and more greens and reds if you want. And you can even put some nut butters in there. We've done that before too. So it is
even avocado.
Avocados. You see those
One
there
of
as
my
well.
favorites.
You could actually take that whole plate of stuff and put it in there. It would be pretty good. Not the avocado seed, though. We don't want that. But you could grind it up if you were putting that in a Vitamix, I suppose. The bottom line is that is truly the start of this idea of kingdom products. And kingdom, that kind of name comes from the idea of God's principles, right? They don't line up with the world's principles too well. So the world will tell you that it is too expensive to eat healthy, and God's word says we provide food for the healthy. So that's a provision. So as far as I'm concerned, everybody kind of needs that. And the last thing I'll say about that is it's a 2-year shelf life. So when you buy that, it is sustainable for 2 years. So if you don't open it, it's still good 2 years later. That's the point. And so people today are talking about prepping and all that stuff. And, do I think we've got problems in the world? Yes. but I think it's like get your food now or die. No, but that is a good thing to have around if you're wanting to lose weight or get healthier or something like that, or save some money, which everybody might want to. There you go. There's Kingdom Fuel.
Well, and Kingdom Fuel does a body good. The body runs on nutrients. It doesn't run on medication. And Kingdom Fuel is a complete multivitamin and mineral. Our next favorite product is that thing called Kingdom Coffee. Now, Kingdom Coffee, I don't know about you, but I have to have that cup of coffee in the morning. And Kingdom Coffee is mold-free, it is pesticide-free, and it is organic. It's got this flavor that is delicious. You don't even have to put cream or sweetener in it. I used to be a person that had to have the creamer and the sweetener in my coffee, but not with Kingdom Cup. 1 cup does a body good.
And it's Kingdom Cup with a K, right? So this is important. 50% of all coffee at least contains mold. Okay.
What's so bad about mold?
Well, mold is something that's a toxic substance. You have mold, and then the toxins that come from that called mycotoxins, and we test people all the time that have mold. The bottom line is that does not have mold. And this is a key thing. That's in bean form, right? So you're going to be a little grinder. They're just a few bucks. Grind it up, put it in your maker, and make it. Why did we go with the bean form, the whole bean? Because ultimately the powder form is the one that gathers the most moisture. And that means the more potential mold development. So this is actually organic, mold-free, certified. It's got a little certificate with it. That's important because ultimately people drink coffee. It's cultural. And so we tried to meet the culture where it is and create a healthy alternative.
Well, and with Kingdom Cup, 1 cup is about 100 milligrams of caffeine.
Yep.
So you know the dose that you're getting, that threshold of caffeine is usually about 300 milligrams a day. But 1 cup of Kingdom Cup, and you might not need to go for that 2nd and 3rd cup.
Well, that's good. And then we've got our Kingdom Candy with a K again. 2 flavors. We got salted caramel and peanut butter. These are great. I mean, they're
kind of like a complete meal.
Yeah, they're 200 calories. People want to know that all the time. And not that we're worried about calories, but these things have great ingredients. They're not sweetened with sugars, and they don't have those false sugars or fake sugars, artificial
sugars. They've got fiber in them.
They do. Fiber. They've got some things like turmeric. One's got kale in it. Don't worry, you're not going to be grossed out. And they taste awesome.
Can't even taste it.
No. It's interesting. Salted caramel crunch is our newest flavor. We'll come up with some other stuff at some point, but those can bridge the gap of that sweet tooth craving. They're sweetened with monk fruit. And that's really, if you know what that is, it's not going to raise blood sugar.
It's really only 2 grams of sugar. I refer to it as the sweet without the cheat.
So we've got more of these Kingdom line products coming. Soon to come is Kingdom Crunch with a K. That's going to be like a cereal. 2 different flavors of that working through. And we'll have some more things out there. We've got our
Kingdom Water.
Kingdom Water. We've got Kingdom Water, which is hydrogen water. So any of these things out here are designed to be money-saving, nutrition-giving, and life-enhancing. And this is a big deal. So if you want to live in a way that's different than the world, avail yourself to all these Kingdom line products. And hey, you'll find out, like thousands of other people did, that these things will help you live healthier. Yeah, biohack, help live you healthy longer. Okay, so enjoy. Up next, our financial guru, Kirk Elliott, gives us advice on what you need to know at this time in history.
Hey friends, you already know the answer to this, but we'll ask you anyway. If you stay away from your favorite junk food for a month and then go back to supersizing it, will your health improve?
Well, that's the thing about change. To change, we have to be as consistent as possible.
And when we go back to an old habit, it's not the end of the world. We just get back at the new habit.
Before you know it, real transformation is evident to you and others.
That's why we offer a bunch of helpful bonuses when you subscribe to Kingdom Fuel.
Kingdom Fuel is our complete nutritional meal shake.
It's the simple start to a transformed life, and we'll auto ship every month so you don't run out.
You'll receive 2 free shaker cups, free access to our video courses, and a monthly call with us filled with practical inspiration.
Just see the link below or on your screen and subscribe today.
Hey there, Kevin Sorbo here. Now, deep down, we know this. We're more than just a brain and a body. We're a spirit, we're a soul, and we're also a physical temple. If you hit the wall when you're trying to improve one aspect of your being, it's probably because, well, other aspects are sabotaging our success. So that's why diets don't work. And frankly, why so much conventional wisdom from our so-called medical establishments falls flat. Doctors Michele and Mark Sherwood have a very different approach. I should know because I happen to be one of their patients. They address the whole person to get to know you, your challenges, and more importantly, what your goals are. Then they offer a complete plan that addresses your unique biology and your heart. They'll help you discover what you need to experience transformation. So find out more at sherwood.tv/sorbo. That's sherwood.tv/sorbo, or see the link before. Now, I'm heading for a workout. You should be going for a workout too. All right, guys. God bless.
Hey everybody, Dr. Kirk Elliott here, and thanks, Mark, for having me on. Interesting topic today because it's a scary topic for everybody that has funds in the bank, right? So I don't know how many of you have ever seen the old classic Christmas story, It's a Wonderful Life, right? But in that movie, there was a run on the banks, right? And it's like, oh my word, nobody had any cash. Well, this actually is happening in real life, and it won't be a wonderful life, right? So the FDIC, the Federal Depository Insurance Corp, right? When you have a bank account, a checking account, savings account, your bank accounts are what? They're insured up to $250,000, right? So we all feel safe, right? We all feel safe that our bank accounts should be safe, right? They're not tied to the stock market. They're not tied to the bond market, or are they, right? Because what does the bank do with your funds? They lend it out, right? So they used to be that every $100 you would deposit, they would keep $10 back and they would loan out $90, right? So it was a 10% reserve requirement. Well, during COVID, the banks, all banks in America from the Federal Reserve said reserve requirement is zero. So they don't have to keep any money on hand at all, zero, right? Oh my word, they could be ripe for a bank run, right? So they also did one other thing. This happened last year. Also what happened last year was the Fed took $2.5 trillion of liquidity out of the banking system via a mechanism called a reverse repo mechanism, which just means they gave all banks these worthless US treasuries and stripped cash out. So they took out $2.5 trillion. They made a 0% reserve requirement, meaning banks don't have anything on hand. So their liquidity is like minimal. But then in November of 2022, a meeting was held at the FDIC, and this video just came out end of the first week in January. It was a video of their meeting. It wasn't intended for public consumption because these FDIC officials were talking, and what were they saying? We can't let the public know about this at all. Now, the bankers, they need to know what's happening in the markets and the impending collapse. And see, Mark, words have meaning, right? So impending collapse. They weren't talking about a collapse that might happen somewhere down the road, an impending collapse of the markets, and the public can't know about what they're talking about in this meeting because that would have come with unintended consequences. It's like, what in the world were they talking about? So what they're talking about is the FDIC is running out of money. So we all think we have $250,000 insurance coverage. We don't, because there's $9 trillion of our money in the banking system. 9 trillion, okay? They have 125 billion covering 9 trillion. That's 1.388%. So the FDIC only has 1.388% of all of our deposits covered. No wonder the FDIC officials, when they didn't know they were being recorded, said, we can't let the public know about this because it would come with unintended consequences, which would be what? A run on the banks. And how much money do banks have? 0% reserve requirement. And they stripped $2.5 trillion out. So this is where, what do we do? I mean, seriously, what do we do when our banks aren't even safe? And you and I have spoken in the past, Mark, about stock market collapse, bond market collapse, and a lot of times people just put their money in the banks when they want it safe and they just want to sit on the sideline. That's not even a good option now, right? With the banking system in complete shambles, no liquidity, and now FDIC, the insurance coverage is so underfunded. They only cover 1.388%. So what do? What you and I have been talking about for months now. Go into tangible assets like gold and silver. It's your safe haven. It's the flight for quality that we all need in times like this. Because here's the growth that we've seen. Asset protection first and foremost. We need to protect everything we've worked so hard to accumulate. Silver and gold are the safest assets in the planet because they're things, and things go up with inflation. But over the last 13 weeks, silver's up almost 40%. It was, let's see, 3 months ago, so, 13 weeks, it was $17.97 an ounce. Today, it's well over 24. It's up almost 40%. But 12 weeks doesn't make a trend. So let's look back further. 2.5 years. Silver was $11.91 an ounce in March of 2020. Now it's up to over 24. That's up 98% in 2.5 years, averaging 38% year growth. That is amazing. In a time like this, when we're all concerned about stock markets collapsing, bond markets collapsing, we're losing equity in our houses, we can have a smile on our face like I always do because we can have something good. There's hope and there's light at the end of this tunnel. If you do the right thing, reallocate into silver or gold, tangible silver or gold, and we can help you with that.
Hey there, Kevin Sorbo here. Now, deep down, we know this. We're more than just a brain and a body. We're a spirit, we're a soul, and we're also a physical temple. If you hit the wall when you're trying to improve one aspect of your being, it's probably because, well, other aspects are sabotaging our success. So that's why diets don't work. And frankly, why so much conventional wisdom from our so-called medical establishments falls flat. Doctors Michele and Mark Sherwood have a very different approach. I should know because I happen to be one of their patients. They address the whole person to get to know you, your challenges, and more importantly, what your goals are. Then they offer a complete plan that addresses your unique biology and your heart. They'll help you discover what you need to experience transformation. So find out more at sherwood.tv/sorbo. That's sherwood.tv/sorbo, or see the link before. Now I'm heading for a workout. You should be going for a workout too. All right, guys. God bless.